Good morning, traders. Today is Thursday, November 4th. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream. Throat clear first thing in the morning. Sorry about that. Take a little sippy of coffee. Little sip. Start the day. All right, guys. Well, I wanted to start today zoomed out quite a bit, looking at the daily chart here. Just because I wanted to think about a concept of momentum, right? The market has been pushing higher basically since it broke out from this downtrend nonstop. We did have a little like 3 to 4 day balance in here. But for the most part, this thing has just been going straight up. And it's been doing it on very weak structure. These gaps that we've left behind, these are very, very weak. All in here, there's tons of weak references where the market pulled down and it didn't really get a chance to have a good two-way auction process to the downside. And then it's just continued higher, right? So when you have this much weakness below you, any trader that's been trading markets for years starts to get really nervous and thinks, I can't trust a long trade anymore because I know the market needs to pull back. But I'm really starting to come to this understanding. I've been talking about it a lot throughout this period, and it's just this morning even further proven in my mind that momentum is more important than structure, right? The way the markets move nowadays, it could be algorithms, it could be just the fact that there's billions of participants who are trading markets now as opposed to what it used to be like a few years ago, when it was much harder to be a trader because, you had to have a lot more capital, you had to use a brokerage that, was harder to get approved for and so on and so forth. Who knows why the markets are so exuberant nowadays, but when they get exuberant, they just keep going. They can just keep pushing it for a very, very long time. So that's what I'm thinking about this morning, and we're gonna pop back over to the market profile, and you'll see what I mean. So yesterday we spent the morning kind of going nowhere, just bouncing around down here, waiting for the Fed, to come out with its minutes from its meeting and to listen to Papa Powell speak. And the second that they did, the market trended straight up for the rest of the day. I mean, it just never came back down, not for a second. It continued to push higher for the rest of the day. And to my shock and dismay, when I opened up the charts this morning, the overnight not only just rotated at higher prices, but is giving us a gap up. We're literally going to have another momentum play this morning. It looks like they might pull down. Okay, so we do have a gap. So this amount of weakness, this many single prints left behind on a poor low with a weak J period pullback low, this big push higher was done on weakness. All of that is screaming to me that the market is in need of repair. But with the gap higher this morning, I will go with the gap and go. All right, so that's the gap fill. We just got the gap filled. So if the market finds support here and it starts to continue higher, I will go long with it, and I don't care about the weakness in the structure because I've just learned my lesson that when momentum is in control, it can push this market to unbelievable levels. But that being said, when the momentum ends, when the music stops and everybody's got to look for a chair, you're going to get a pullback. Okay? And so I'm certainly not blindly bullish. I'm fully aware that the market could need to pull back down here. Okay? So this morning we opened with a gap higher, which is bullish. We opened above yesterday's late day spike in the M period, which is bullish. We've now backfilled that gap, and we're looking for support. So we can look into this area here as the first potential support. That's going to be right around that 52-ish level where the overnight market found its support, brought in some volume, and we also brought in the volume end of day right at that level, right at our close. So that's the first potential support. So I wouldn't be looking to short this market unless we got below 46, 45, this node of volume right here. If we get below that, I will short to try to backfill these single prints in here from yesterday. But if not, I'm going to keep in mind that momentum is in charge of this market. And it might well be, as ridiculous as it seems, it might well be that we need to head all the way up here to the top of this, channel that we're developing on the daily before we get any real resistance. And that's going to be up there in the 4700s. Okay, so they're trying to find support right here at yesterday's high, which is the most bullish scenario. That is a gap and go. It's too early to make a call on the internals here. We have good taper on the low. Doesn't mean it'll be the low, but just that if it was good taper. Please smash that like button to get us started here today. Speaking of momentum, we're losing momentum on the channel. Got to get those likes up first thing to bring in the viewers. The same way we got to keep the momentum going to bring in the buyers in the market. Human psychology. Yeah, how would I find a target? Well, I would do, the first target would be the base of the single prints. So once again, let's say the market trades lower. Let's say it gets below this level here. Okay, it pushes down, can't get back above, I go short, right? Boom, I'm in a short trade. My first target is going to be the base of the single prints right here at 46.3275. Now, the reason that that's a first target is because single prints have a high probability of being backfilled. So getting down to that level, there is a good statistical probability once we start to backfill them that we'll get all the way down to that level. Okay. But then there is also a high probability that we find support there. The base of single prints up often act as support. Okay. And the base of single prints down often act as resistance. However, I wouldn't take full profits. I would take full profits, but then be ready to jump back into another short. So either take partial profits here or take your profits, because you're definitely going to get a bounce. It'll come down into here and then you'll get a little bounce. So maybe you re-enter, or you take partial profits because the market could continue lower as there's another set of single prints down here that need backfilling. Okay. So that's what we call monitoring for continuation. You get into the short, and then you see when it gets to the first potential support, does it hold? If not, you look for the next potential support. Does that hold? Okay, so that's 46.2075. If that one doesn't hold, we remember that yesterday's low is extremely poor. Okay, it was a poor low with a weak J period pullback, and the J period was what caused this rocket ship higher. So the buyers that pushed us up are weak. So that becomes the next target. If you don't find support at the second set of single prints, the target is repairing the poor low. And you kind of just keep going with it as far as it keeps pushing. If I had to guess today, if we do get a pullback, though, we'll probably find support at this first base of single prints. But as of now, that's not in play. As of now, they're still bringing in buyers at yesterday's high, which is bullish. Overnight inventory, whilst it was rotational, was net long. So this could just be the counter auction, right? Giving some of those longs a chance to take profits here. Good morning, Naif. Good to see you. Welcome. Love it, Naif. Love it. Love your analysis of yourself and the market. You're doing it right, man. This is the way. Philip, good morning to you. Philip, ha ha ha. Fundamental information about jobs doesn't matter. Momentum is in charge of this market. It's not just the retail that thinks stocks only go up. The big players are getting on board too. Amir, yeah, we do have people using NinjaTrader, using the profile on there. I think it's a separate plugin you have to buy. Good morning, Jeremy. Good morning, Diane. Jose, good morning to you. Welcome. Sanju, good to see you. David Glass is here. Good morning. Okay, at this point, staying above the yesterday's high is bullish. We obviously have very little resistance above us. And once we start to break through that, particularly getting above that overnight high, it's blue skies, baby. Okay, so once again, starting to poke above this little node of volume here that ends at 46.60. That is breaking through any resistance that we have. So a pull back down from there that finds support at yesterday's high is a good buy in my opinion. But first, we just got to poke through this. David Glass, good morning to you. Jeremy, good to see you again. Keeps you from market open FOMO? Well, today might be a day to have some market open FOMO. It's a gap up. And like I said, it's just breathtaking to me that the overnight did not pull back down at all. Like, look at this. I mean, literally, this was the 15-minute runoff period was the lows. Once Asia stepped in, they just, all night, they just kept it up here and explored new highs, new all-time high. Like, that's just nothing but momentum. All right, well, I am bullish as long as we stay above this node right here. So getting below, say, 46.55, I'd go back to neutral with the potential of a further pullback. But as long as we stay above this area here, which is yesterday's high, momentum is in charge and it's still going. So I'm not going to fight it. The trend is your friend, as they say. You don't want to get in a fight with your friend. Let's pop over and see what the Q is doing this morning. Okay, it's right in line with the ES. Their overnight was a little bit more bullish, but again, on weak structure, left some single prints behind. And their gap and go, they still have the gap, so it was a little bit more bullish than ours. So on the NQ, I'd say for me to stay bullish, same thing as the ES. We just got to stay above this node we created this morning at about 16,170. If we get below that, we might be looking to fill that gap left behind there. But as long as it stays above, it's bullish. Tom, good morning to you. Ray, good morning from Wyoming. Harry, I just hit up that NQ support. So it'll be this node of volume right around 16,177. And then if not, when they backfill the gap, yesterday's high, right around 16,146 would be the support. Nick, good morning to you. Ocean Blue. Thank you for the thumbs up, brother. Amir, good morning. Scooball back with us. Good to see you. Arthur is here. Good morning to you. Doug, good to see you. Jit, the only thing that matters is Jerome and Nancy have loaded the boat with calls. You mean they're friends and family, right? You mean they're friends and family. And good morning to you. Futures trader, good morning. You've come to the right place. Welcome. J trader, good morning. Mina, good morning to you. Ray Miller says that the Ninja Trader TPO is free if you got the lifetime license. That's cool. So free if you pay $1,000 or whatever it costs. And but is it similar to what I have? Well, the thing I always talk about with market profile charts is all you really need to see is the market in 3 dimensions. So you need to be able to see how much time. So that's the TPO's overlapping, shows you how much time and how much volume, which obviously the volume profile over here on the left shows you at each individual price level. It doesn't need to look like this. Doesn't have to be the alphabet. Doesn't have to be colored like this. Anything that gives you the indication where you can see how much time the market spent at a certain level and how much volume, that's really all you need. But of course, I highly recommend Window Trader because it does give you the most, control. You can completely program it to do whatever you want. Rocket, before I even read your comment, let me guess. You've already made some money this morning and you're quitting for the day. 22-point rip on the Russell. Were you in it? Were you in it for all 22 points? That would be a crazy good morning. Damn, you're right. The Russell is ripping. It's on a basically 4-day straight uptrend. Alpha Trader, first the Global X high needs to be taken out. Was that you were referring to like when you would get bullish? They took it out. And what do they do on trend days? They build volume. They push higher. They build volume. They push higher. So far it's looking good. Gap and go. Building volume above that high. It's bullish. Vincent, good morning to you. David V in the house. Good to see you. My friend from Belarus back with us. Welcome. All right. Well, now that the internals have had a chance to kind of settle in, they're kind of neutralish. They're staying above the zero line, but they are trending down on the ticks. So price might be getting a little ahead of itself here, in need of a pullback. Ocean Blue, do I have something that shows potential highs? No, this is something that always comes up. I'm not great at calling highs in blue skies. The only thing I recommend is Fibonacci. If anybody's got a level that they want to throw up in the chat, they think is a target to the upside. But I play the momentum, right? I play the trend. So as long as the market continues to one time frame higher today, I'll continue to be long. And it's only when I get the cessation of that, which of course we haven't started that yet. I'm way, way early here. But this is what a trend day looks like. A gap and go. Like I said, they build volume, they push higher, they build volume. If they start to build a node of volume up in here without having to pull back down, it's just a further sign they're trending. But the ticks are kind of a little mysterious here. They're having a hard time getting back above that zero line. So I do think we're going to run out of buyers here pretty soon and need some kind of pullback. Looking for support around that overnight high in this first little node of volume. So like 46.62-ish. But if they turn a bunch of candles pink here and get continuation, I would not be surprised. Rocket saying the next level is 85. Diane seeing 91. Does EW mean end of week? 4,800? Can't be end of week. That's tomorrow. D-beep. Market profile looks like Swiss cheese. Yep. And we've got low volume nodes here, only 182. Here, only 200. Oops, only 260. But like I said, the lesson I've learned is weakness is not as important as momentum. If they can keep building volume up here and get another push, the momentum is in control. So we worry less about structure when momentum is in charge. Okay, we got value completely higher than yesterday. We got a gap and go. So setting ourselves up for a bullish day today. Oh, Elliott wave. That makes sense. Okay, so once again, if the market's got two choices here. It either continues to build volume and then breaks out to the upside, or it needs to pull back a little bit. The ticks are indicating it needs to pull back a little bit. So first potential support is going to be this node around half back. We'll call that 62. And then the next is going to be yesterday's high and this node there. We'll call that 57. But if they do just break out to the upside, we can get another push higher. Push it, push it. Okay, poor high here in the B period. We often get a push away from a poor high. But if we immediately get up there and repair it, getting 2 ticks above that A period high, that is slightly more bullish. $58 likes from 110 people. I think we can do better. Anybody like me? Anybody want to send YouTube a message that I'm an all right guy? That guy's all right. Like button. You can dance if you want to. You can leave the chat behind. The chat's too busy trading. The market forgot to push the like. Good day, Jonathan. Mackie Max, no, the white line right here, that is called the halfback. So that's just basically half of the day's range. Think about it like a Fibonacci 50% retrace. The POC is the green and yellow letters. So it was here earlier in the A period, but now in the B period, it's been pulled up to here. So that's where the POC is. But on a trend day, the POC doesn't really matter. So right now the market is trending higher. Well, not officially, but it's beginning to look like it's going to trend higher. And so the only real thing you notice in the POC is it should move with the trend. So if the market continues to push higher, the POC should get pulled up to here and then pulled up to here and so forth. But that really comes into play once the market goes rotational. And the little white line, the halfback, that's just commonly support on a pullback. So that's why I'm saying it's a great spot on a pullback here, because you got a lot of confluence, right? You got the node of volume, you got the halfback, and you got the overnight high. So there's lots of reasons for buyers to step in there. Jonathan, you'll be pleased to know I took down, or maybe you'll be annoyed to know, I took down the You Know Me POC t-shirt because I only ever sold one of them to you. So you now own a one and only. It is, I don't know if that makes it more valuable, but there will never be another POC t-shirt. So there you go. All right, looks like that poor high is working as resistance here. David V. Sorry, you guys missed it. You missed the boat on the POT shirt. Maybe Jonathan will turn it into a NFT, and you guys can own the rights to be the owner, but he still gets to keep wearing the T-shirt. That NFT will be worth $1 million by tomorrow. Diane, no, I'm saying I only ever sold one of those shirts, and now I've taken it off the website. So there will never be another one made. There was only ever that one. Brownfield, does he pay us to wear it? Yeah, I don't know. That'd be up to him as he sets up the NFT. Mangala, feeling happy? Made back some of your losses? That's good. All right, Jeremy, I'll make one. I don't know why you hate on mutual funds so much, but sure. All right. Well, it seems like the market's having a hard time getting back above that poor high. So if it continues to find resistance here, it will need to pull back down to bring in more buyers. And we'll notice it's going to happen because the ticks will start to push below the zero line. CRMH, is there anything especially telling about the volume taper at the poor high as opposed to if it were more even? No, nothing that really jumps out at me. The market just didn't really spend much time up there. As soon as it created that poor high, it instantly pulled back down. So now we're coming in to work on that taper. All right. So the market's one time framing higher. Value is higher. We got a gap and go. And as we do on a trend day, we are just building nodes of volume, pushing higher, node of volume, pushing higher, node of volume, and pushing higher. It's a bull market, you know. Jeremy, well, you'll be excited to know the next generation of investors don't give a fuck about mutual funds. They don't want safe investments. Millennials and Gen Z, they would rather do high risk, high reward than safe. They'd rather just have someone on Reddit tell them to buy GME and just pucker up their buttholes and hope they win. That's what they like. They have a different risk appetite than previous generations. Everybody wants a Lambo. Everybody wants to go to the moon. Diego, yeah. Well, gambling is risk. Uh, It's just the concept of trying to explain to somebody to create a safe long term, investment portfolio. They're just not interested. Ocean Blue 18K NQ sounds better than 17. Just it just rolls off the tongue a little bit easier. Oh boy. The Q will do what the Q will do. I mean, talk about momentum. I'm just looking at the candlesticks, ignoring the overnight here. This is where they drop the Fed notes. The momentum. It's still going. Partha, ticks dying, but market flying. That's a t-shirt idea right there. Okay, yeah, ticks pulling below the zero line means we should run out of buyers up here. They're selling those underlying shares. So now the buyers who are buying up here have to compete against those arbitrage bots. So we should need a pullback soon. But as long as they keep doing this thing where they build a node of volume and then they don't pull back, they just push higher, it can keep going. James, other than the 9:30 tick, there has been no little program buying. What does that mean? Elaborate for us. All right, so we're getting that pullback support. The first support is going to be right around this node of volume at 68.69. If not, pulling back down towards the overnight high. Skewball, let's take a look at the Q. A little bit more, a little bit stronger than the ES here. No pullback yet, just building volume at a higher price. So its support, if it does pull back, is going to be the node around 16,254. In that area, if that fails, just above the overnight high at around 222. 222. Looking for support at you. 222. Gnarls 99, it's my pleasure. I'm leaving in 2 minutes, though. Got to join the Brigade to stick with me the rest of the day. Only costs $10. Links in the description. Ocean Blue, $10 a month, Charles. James, this is not helping me at all. Oh, I see your comment above. It's not program-related buying. How do you know? Because of that formula? All right, so now that we've printed the C period, we can look for continuation of the trend higher by the C period low, staying above the B period low. So if as long as it stays above 4,666.25, it will get continuation higher. But if it pulls back down below there, that is what we call the cessation of one time framing, or the end of the trend. And it will often go rotational at that point. So we would probably, if we broke below that level now, we'd probably just rotate kind of up around in this range here. And I'd start to get bearish if we pulled back down into yesterday's range, that we might need a larger pullback to repair all that weakness we left behind with those single prints. So once again, the first set of single prints ends at 46.32.75, and the next set at 46.20.75, and then the low of the day is also poor, in need of repair. But if we do get cessation of one time framing and we start rotating and we stay above yesterday's high, we'll just go sideways at these higher prices. But as long as that C period low stays above that B period low, we're likely to keep going here. So with that, I will, bid you all farewell. Happy Thursday. Happy trading. And I hope to see you all here tomorrow morning. Thank you guys very much. Have a great rest of your day.